Hey everybody, welcome back to Board and Savior. I am Ben from Board and Savior, and I am joined today by Kelsey from Girlsplaining Gaming. Say hey, Kelsey!
Hello again!
Oh my gosh, look at that. Today, we will be doing a debate on Dungeons and Dragons based topics. But what topics? I don't know. Because here's the deal with this debate. This is what I'm calling a clean slate debate. Kelsey has come up with two fascinating, juicy topics for us to sink our teeth into. She will present the things that we will be arguing about. I have never heard these things before in my life, and I will on the spot have to decide what side I am arguing, and Kelsey will then take whatever the opposite side of that thing is, and we will argue until we are blue in the face and until one person says, "You win, it's over, I can't do it anymore." Actually, it's more likely that you all will be weighing in saying who you think won. Neither of us will give an inch. We're not gonna claim defeat. Never here. But that's what we're doing today. We're talking about D&D and we're debating, and it's gonna be so fun. Yeah.
Our first topic for the day is, checks notes, Baldur's Gate is or isn't a good representation of D&D.
Oh, okay. So now I have to decide, not necessarily which one I agree with, but which one I want to argue.
That's true. I didn't even think about the fact that I could pick the one I disagree with just for fun.
Yeah, that's just more fun to argue.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. I think I am going to argue that Baldur's Gate is not a good depiction of D&D, not an accurate representation. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna lock that in.
I think Baldur's Gate. Now we're talking about Baldur's Gate 3 here, True. Just for any of you nitpickers in the comments. It's bringing a lot more people who are unfamiliar with D&D to the space and giving them a structure where there's things that are set out that you can do. There's a plot, right? In a way that a lot of people who just start D&D really struggle with, what can I do? Well, you can do anything. Okay, well, can I try to do this? Well, obviously, yeah, you just do it. And I see a lot of newer players that I play with and talk to having some trouble with that. So I think it is a really good structured way for people to learn about the world of D&D. It also has a lot of classic lore. Of course, the cities and towns and some of the people are in some of, all the races and classes and things are things that you're going to find in 5e. Now, it's not an exact match, but D&D really isn't an exact science anyway. I think the biggest one really that I resonate with is why it is a good example for D&D is the combat. Again, it's not an exact lineup, but I feel like I got so much better at D&D combat after I started playing Baldur's Gate because I really started to think about the mechanics of what I could do. I am a very storytelling driven player, so often I kind of forget to make my character mechanics work, but for the first time I really was like, oh, okay, great, so I can action surge, I can use 2 attacks, one of them can be this special superiority die, I've got all this vocabulary that I wouldn't know anyway, I've got to try out a bunch of classes and things that I never would have done, so I just think it overall is a really good way for people to try out D&D if they're new to it, or if they're a veteran player and they just haven't gotten to do all the things, without having to have a DM, because sometimes a DM is hard to find. So Baldur's Gate is your DM.
I think you said a lot of good stuff in there, and I love, first of all, before I start shit talking, I love Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is great, and I want to get that right out. Like, voice acting, tremendous. Writing, so good. Graphics, lovely. However, it's a different beast than D&D. It's a whole other thing. I found myself very early in my Baldur's Gate playthrough excitedly kind of telling people, like, if you love D&D, you will love this. But as I played more, I think I got to understand that it is its own thing, and someone who loves D&D won't necessarily love Baldur's Gate 3. When I started my playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, I created a character with a backstory. I wanted a character who had truth to her that I could kind of try to play through in the world and make decisions for her based on the backstory that I had decided. I was not really able to keep that going, because in the backstory that I decided, I was like, she lost her sister. Her sister died, and she is trying to become a necromancer to figure out how to bring her sister back to life, which is a very fun idea, but you have to remember, Baldur's Gate has no idea that you decided that she has a sister that died. Baldur's Gate doesn't know. Yes, you can reanimate skeletons and you can do necromancer things and you can make selfish decisions throughout the course of the game. It is an RPG in that way, but I feel like the magic of D&D is that creation of the story with your party and with your DM, and the story is created before you sit down to play Baldur's Gate 3. You can make choices and guide the story here and there, but there are still rails. There are still guardrails that prevent you from going far off the beaten path. And I feel like the real magic of Dungeons and Dragons is that with a good DM, those guardrails do not exist at all. The DM says, there's a princess in a castle who needs your rescuing. And you say, but what are the mushrooms in the forest like? Can we look at those? And they're like, I guess this session's about mushrooms now. And that's what we're doing. And then you have an incredible session where you're like fighting mushroom people. And it's great. And you weren't expecting it. And no one was expecting it. But Baldur's Gate, you gotta go after that princess that's in the castle if you want to progress the story. You have to do it. And that is just the nature of video games and of like RPGs in that way. So, a very fun time, but I don't think it fully captures the wonder, the mystery that is Dungeons and Dragons. And I feel like there were moments throughout playing Baldur's Gate 3 where I felt that, where I felt like I can't do whatever I want, whatever I can imagine here. And I never feel like that in D&D.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So do you find that you're usually a storytelling or like a role-playing player, or do you find in D&D that you're like a more mechanics-driven player?
I would say in the very, very rare moments when I am playing D&D, I am somewhat cast in the forever DM role. But in the moments when I am playing, it's very, very role-play based, very character based, and like I'm not a big min-maxer. I would much rather create a character that is fun.
Very mid.
Yeah, I'm so mid. I would much rather create like a fun character that is maybe even like their race and class like do not mesh. Like there are certain, you can combine race and class to really optimize your stats. And I'm like, no, it's way more funny if I am like a half orc that's trying really hard to be a wizard, even though he should be a barbarian. Like I like that kind of thing. So definitely, away from the mechanics.
I'm also very much that way, but I think I find that it's kind of refreshing to be able to focus on something else. Because I find that in a lot of the D&D games that I do play, it's so open that it's like sometimes I want to be telling a crafted story, and it's tough as a control freak. No, I have a lot of fun improvising in my games with my friends. Don't take that the wrong way. But I think sometimes it's really nice for me to just like, I would never ever play a fighter in D&D. Okay, I can't say never, but like I'm gonna play, okay, what's my current character?
Who are you?
What's my current character? I'm playing this kind of like asshole bard guy, but he's not. Like he's got layers to him, but we're kind of unraveling them very slowly. And he's got this whole thing where he like made a deal with this entity, this like deity from the sea, to save his love, but then she got turned into a sea monster because of it. And so, I mean, you get the point. I would never really just play a character just to be able to do stuff. I love the storytelling. And for once, I get to do that. Yeah. So I never get to whack things. And in Baldur's Gate, I do get to whack things. So I think that's nice. But I would agree that I do see it more as just like a role-playing game in the D&D world rather than playing D&D. Maybe I shouldn't say that because that's arguing for your point, but not mine.
Yeah, I would also add that, like, it's 100%, it's always going to happen when you're playing an RPG, when you're playing a video game. But when I am in the middle of a conversation with an NPC and the game says, here are the 4 sentences that you can say in response, it is so frequent that I go, but I want to say the 5th sentence that you didn't give me as an option. Like, I would not say, my character would not say this stuff. And obviously D&D, you say whatever the hell comes out of your mouth, and often it's bad because you're not thinking. You're just your character. And you get into all sorts of trouble that way, and you can't really get into that same kind of trouble in Baldur's Gate. That actually, I'll add that in. The chaos of a D&D session is not nearly as present in Baldur's Gate. I don't know, have you tried going evil? I have not tried going evil. I have not yet tried going evil. But like, there's so much mischievousness that happens in D&D where you're like, I'm going to pickpocket this guard just because. And then all of a sudden you're like surrounded by all of the Kingsguard in the town, and you're brought before a council, and you have no idea what's going on. And like, there's nothing like that in Baldur's Gate. There's none of those spiraling out of control moments that I have at least experienced in Baldur's Gate to this point. I don't know.
Cool. We're not going to decide a winner here, and we're also not going to stoop to agree with each other because then we'd both be wrong.
Never. So I think you have to comment. I think you have to comment right now who you think won that little exchange, but edit it. Remember to edit it later because there's about to be another exchange. Or leave 2 comments. Actually, 2 comments is better for engagement. 2 comments, please. What else are we going to talk about today?
Oh, yeah. What else are we going to talk about? Our second topic for the day. Less about media, more about the game itself.
Okay.
Should you make your character alike to you or intentionally different from yourself?
Oh, no. Well, I can't say out loud that I think there is a good argument to both, because whatever argument I make, the other one is bad, is wrong. That's
why I picked it, because I didn't want them all to be, is this thing good or bad? This one is just it's really a matter of taste. But
should you make your character like you or intentionally make it not like you? I am going to go the other way. The first one I was saying no, no, no. This time I'm saying yes, yes, yes. You should make your character like you. That's what I say.
Cool.
So I've heard that Kelsey feels the exact opposite.
This is great. I'm feeling good about this one. I guess I could have said things for either way, but I'm excited to talk about why I think you should make your D&D character different from you. I think this simply offers you so much more opportunity to explore. You get to be somebody else, and not only is that like a little bit of escapism every week or however often your group meets, but it's just like a different way to tell a story. So I'll tell you a little anecdote about my favorite character that I've ever played. I think this was the first time I ever played a man instead of playing a woman in D&D, and I actually since then have found that I really like playing men in D&D, because it just kind of offers me a different perspective and like a ability to, like, I don't know, interact with my world differently, and that's really cool shoes to step in. So my character, very beloved to me, is Rod Pocket. He is a dad, a paladin, a paladad, if you will. And his little backstory is that he went out for the proverbial carton of milk, except he was returning to his family, but he got kidnapped. So his family thinks that he abandoned them, and he's just trying to get back to them. So he's adopting all sorts of kids from around the Forgotten Realms, and he's just trying to get back to his family. I love a twist on a tragic backstory. No, everybody died. Just a little bit, a little something different. But, you know, I got to go around and, like, roll for strength of my handshake. I got to make dad jokes. I got to, like, have these, like, fun masculine moments that I don't get afforded in my daily life. And I thought it was, like, a really fun way to just explore this world. That's really my only point for it, but I feel very strongly about it. So I'm sure when we continue discussing, I'll come up with another one.
Well, let me start my counterattack by asking a very simple question to you, Kelsey. We don't know each other like insanely well, but I think I get your vibe. Can you honestly tell me that you don't make dad jokes?
Well, seeing as that's like, yeah, no, so I do. Yeah.
My
Maybe I was meant to
counterattack
be a dad.
my counterattack is this. I think regardless of the character that you create, you are playing yourself. Almost in all cases. Like, unless you are intentionally creating a horrible villain, and you are not a horrible villain. If you're a horrible villain, then yes, you are just playing yourself. But if you just create someone who is cruel and wicked and doing all the wrong things, maybe you're not playing yourself. But for the most part, I think D&D characters allow us to amplify our best qualities. They allow us to put the things that we love about ourselves on display bigger and more animatedly than they appear in our real lives. And it's almost like an aspirational thing of, this is something about me that I care about and I wish I embodied more in my life. And these characters allow us to really exemplify those qualities that we don't have to live out in our regular daily lives, going to an office job, whatever they're doing. But it lets you be that good, caring person in a fantastical setting. But I would argue that that is you. That is a true thing to your heart and to your soul. The fact that you care about people and that you love people and you love helping, I think that is all real, and it's just a little more exaggerated. But it's not that you're not being yourself. It's that you're being an idealized version of yourself, and I think that's real healthy. And the D&D, my topic for us to argue, D&D should be used as therapy. No, I'm just kidding. Go to real therapy. Go to real therapy, please.
So what you're saying is, if you're not playing yourself, you're playing yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Oh, shit. I think you just won me this debate.
No, I won me this debate. Also, that whole thing was just a big compliment, so I win.
Yeah, do I have any like shitty versions of this where I'm like, no, you should play yourself because you're bad? No, I don't have anything like that. I don't think I can make that argument. No, it really is. It's like hopeful and idealistic, and I think D&D is a beautiful like way to see who you truly are. Yeah, I think
it's also hopeful and idealistic. It's just, you get to try out things that maybe you wouldn't do normally, is the way that I'm looking at it.
Yeah. And I think I'm looking at it like another element that I didn't mention is that character in D&D can be revelatory for real life and for who you are. Like, there are things that I have discovered playing D&D about what I care about in real life. Like, realizations of, I should be kinder. I should try harder. Like, because these stories are epic and they are grand, I feel like it makes you like you breathe in this sense of spirit and wonder. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting real sappy about this. I love D&D. D&D's so cool, man.
Yeah. It's really interesting because I feel like we really are coming from a similar place, but we just have such very different internal lives. Yeah. Where like a lot of times when I'm playing, like I do have that sense of like invigorated wonder and whimsy, but to me that's like, and it's taken me out of my everyday life. Like for a couple hours, I get to be somewhere else, and I don't have to think about work, and I don't have to think about this, and it's like my problems. Maybe they're like world ending because the world's gonna end in D&D, but it's not like, oh my god, we're like living in a nightmare in real life. So I think like for me, I think that like the sense of wonder is like a bit of the sense of escapism, and I look at that in a very positive way. Yeah. So I think we like same concept, just coming from two different directions.
Yeah.
But hey, I didn't get to pick my side, so.
No, you didn't. Well, watcher, viewer, listener, subscriber. Hopefully you're subscribed. If you're not, get on that. That is going to do it for this little clean slate debate. We really just kind of ended up agreeing on a lot of stuff because we agree on a lot of stuff, but I think Kelsey and I can both agree that I was more right. No, why don't you tell us? Why don't you tell us that I was more right? And actually, more importantly than that, comment first and then go to Girlsplaining Gaming, because guess what? Right this second on Girlsplaining Gaming, you can watch 2 more debates, but flipped around, where I say the thing, and then Kelsey chooses the thing, and then we talk about it. Go watch that. Just get over there. And I'm going to say that that's going to do it for this Board and Savior video. This incredible discussion. Friends coming together, arguing to the death, and you decide who gets to live. Thank you so much for coming. Leave a comment, leave a like, and go check out Girlsplaining Gaming. Say bye, Kelsey.
See ya.
Bye.